we go. Okay, welcome to another Learning Sound and Synthesis Spotlight Series interview. I'm here today with Enrico. Hello, welcome.
Hi
Thank you for
everyone.
being
Hi
here.
everyone. Nice to Thank you very much
So for
for
those of
hosting.
you who aren't, yeah, we're so happy to have you here to talk a little bit about your journey learning modular synthesis, what that's looked like for you, and kind of just how you've grown and changed as a musician over the last little while. So, for those of you who aren't familiar with what this series is, the Learning Sound and Synthesis Spotlight series is an interview series that I am doing with the amazing people who are inside of my modular synthesis class, Learning Sound and Synthesis. And basically, this is an opportunity to just chat with these amazing artists, to hear about the growth that they have experienced over the last few months, or some of them few years, depending on how long it's been since they joined the class, and just to learn a little bit from them about what's working, what's inspiring them, so that we can pass that over to all of you, and you can kind of, take what you want into your own musical practice. So to start us off, Enrico, can you briefly introduce yourself, a little bit about who you are and what kind of music you like to make?
Sure. I'm Enrico. I'm 26, and I'm a drummer first. I was a drummer first, and then I decided to um, change a little bit my direction about music. Still keeping drums as my main instrument, but I was very interested in electronic music. It's like I got interested 6 years ago, 7 years ago, when I started doing the Academy of Fine Arts, and then it changed a little bit my vision and expanded a little bit my vision about my music. So, uh, 3 years ago or so, I decided to get into it and buy my first semi-modular synthesizer. Um, Starting to know a little bit about the Ableton basics and stuff like that. And now, I mean, I'm into modular synthesis because I just I bought my first little modular system in 1 year ago. So it was a little. It's a short time, and now I'm expanding it. And I started. I mean, I felt that doing this course was will be very helpful for me because it's like about the approach it gives to every student and to me personally, because I found it inspiring on how it's taught and the approach it has, starting from the basics and then going in the advanced skills and compositional skills that actually I wasn't able to go through still. I have still to go through the model 6 and 7, but it was a very nice journey so far because also of the coaching calls and the support that and the exchange that that there was in the coaching calls. I really
Yeah,
like that, and yeah,
I'm so glad to hear that.
you're welcome. It was a very inspiring course, and still I have to go through the main section, which I love to get through it as soon as possible. Uh, that's it.
Yeah. So, well, okay. Thank you for that, for saying all of that. I'm so glad that you've had a great experience in the class, and you're not alone in, you still have some stuff to go through. That's fine. Totally fine. It's set up to go through your own pace, right? So
Yeah,
lots of
yeah.
people take their time, they go through the material slowly, and
I
that's the way
decided
it's
to go
supposed to
like
be.
this. Yeah, because
Yeah, that's perfect.
it needs time to settle it, and it's a very dense subject. So I will
Yes.
take my time to, I mean, let it settle so that all the concepts will
Yeah, I
be
think that's
helpful.
so smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's so smart. It's not a race. We say this a lot in the class that, learning music, learning art, learning any kind of creative topic, learning anything, I think it's not a race, right? It takes time. We all learn differently. Sometimes we need to repeat something 5, 6 10 times. And it's really easy to see that as like a step backwards, like, oh, I have to go back again. But in my experience, all of that is a step forward, right? Because you're reinforcing, you're making the connection stronger, you're getting deeper and deeper into this thing that we
You
love.
internalize
So
it.
it's just,
It's like you internalize the concept.
yes, exactly. Okay. That's great. Okay, so you're a drummer and you got into modular synths with a semi-modular, right? And then you
Yeah,
came into the class and now you're starting to explore, you said, a small modular system, right?
yeah. That is
Okay.
expanding a little bit right now. So it's
Okay, a
become a
small
little
and
bigger.
expanding.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Step by step.
what would you yeah, I understand, trust me. What would you say that one of your biggest personal accomplishments or achievements has been over the last few months, aside from learning, of course you're learning new skills, new techniques every day. Um, but what would you say is something that is like a big accomplishment that you've had over the last little while in your creative practice? Something that you're proud of?
Yeah, one thing I'm really proud of is the how can I say? I It's like I built some familiarity with the instrument. I'm becoming more and more comfortable with the instrument. So it's like for me, it's like a relationship. It's like me talking to him and he, him. I
Yeah.
mean, it. How can it? I don't
Yeah.
know how to say it, but it's like a conversation between me and the instrument, and we need to learn how to talk. Uh, for talking in a proper way, you need to learn from the basics to the advanced techniques and how it works. Of course, every
Mm.
modular synth is personal, so you need to also learn your specific synth, how it works, all the modules that how it's composed, and how every module interact with each other. You interacting with every module, with every module you have. So it's complex, but it's very very how can I say, challenging, but inspiring in a way. So it keeps you makes you think you can do more. You can do. There are a lot of
Yeah.
possibilities, so there's a lot to explore, and I'm becoming more and more familiar with this concept. And now the main goal is this: become talking with my synthesizer, so that I'm able to give to the public a performance which is satisfying and alive and expresses myself in a certain way, let's say.
Mm. I love that you're talking about talking with the instrument because when you have a conversation, it's multi-directional, right? So it's more of a interactive relationship that you have with this instrument where you say something, maybe you guide it, you contribute, but then it contributes back. And in any good conversation, there's an equal part of sharing your thoughts and listening, right? And receiving and responding. And I think that's just a really beautiful way to interact with the instrument. I'm
Yeah, yeah.
curious, Enrico, you mentioned in one of our earlier conversations, you mentioned that you kind of had to change the way that you were thinking about the instrument in order to have things click. Like you had a little bit of a mindset shift that was really helpful. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure, of course. It started last year, around this period, so end of July. I had a very important performance. It was my first modular performance in a um, very important context, because there were other musicians with me that played later and before me, which were very skillful. I was still a beginner, but I had my first modular synth, so I decided to do it. Why not? Let's test our skills. Let's test how far have I become with the instrument and stuff. But I
Oh,
realized now that I made a mistake, a big mistake in
no.
in the composition, in the thought I had when doing that performance. It was too strict and too planned. Um, so I was thinking, now I have to do this, then there's that, then there's that. There's a strict structure about my. There was
Hmm.
a strict structure in my performance, which now I'm kind of letting go. And this is related to the topic of the conversation with the instrument, because you don't know what the instrument is gonna say, but you need to be ready to answer him, let's say. And there's what I love about the modular synthesizer is that I love the unpredictability of it. So uh,
Mm.
um, it's like performances which are too strict for me doesn't work, which you lose the kind of the magic of it. You need to have a little bit of the unpredictability of the synthesizer, the instrument that opens you, if you have the awareness of your instrument, new possibilities that you can explore in the real time. So that that's the shift of mindset for me. It's introducing the unpredictability in the performance, and having the awareness of the instrument to manage it, let's say.
Yeah. Okay. So for some people listening, that might sound like a nice idea, but kind of like a big leap, like how in the world would you intentionally make something unpredictable and then go to a performance and be on stage with this unpredictable instrument? So can you, I, and I am also a big fan of this kind of way of working, but I know that that can feel really scary at first. Was there something, can you share a little bit more about, aside from the mindset shift, you obviously had to learn how to maybe patch in a different way or interact with your instrument in a different way. Was there anything in particular that was helpful for you to
Yeah,
feel like secure in that unpredictability?
yeah, of course. First thing that was really important was were the first lessons I did in the course, because it's starting from the basics, but sometimes you didn't really, how we were saying before, that you didn't really internalize what you heard, something you heard before in the past. So
Right.
going through the basic concepts and putting them into practice was very helpful, because little by little, by block, you know what it's doing, and then you put it into practice, and block by block you start building your performance. So it's that was very nice. So this is a concrete thing that was very helpful to me to build this concept, this mindset I had inside. And then what about something else? It's like the approach, because at some point, some some months ago, I was very blocked by by doing something with the modular. I was, let's say, in a writer's block. I didn't really write anything in particular, like an EP, a piece, but
Mhm.
I was inspired before, and then it's kind of I lost it. I wasn't able to find the right approach, so I decided to join this course, and it was very nice. And I loved the approach, because it's my approach. I very find myself into it, so it's very nice. And still, I have to go through a lot of things, because I didn't build um, that that I mean the total awareness of the instrument. So I it's a process. Little
Yeah.
by little, I'm improving it, and I'm happy for that. But I'm also aware that I have still a lot of work to do, and I'm excited for that, because it's a journey, and you have to
Ugh,
enjoy it.
yeah. Okay, I just want to take a second to really acknowledge you right now, Enrico, because so many of the things that you just said in the last minute are such a powerful way of approaching being a musician and being an artist. You have this kind of beginner's mindset in the way that you're talking, which is really vital to, I think, getting deep into learning any new topic. And so, there's two ways to kind of be a beginner. One way is you really push yourself down and you're like, oh, I don't know anything, like I'm too much of a beginner, there's so much I don't know, it's so overwhelming, and you kind of hide from that.
Yeah.
And then there's this other way, which is really what you're embodying in everything that you're saying, which is like, I'm always kind of a beginner. Like, there's so much to learn, and that's so exciting because of how far I can go. And I think that when you can embrace that mindset, the sky is the limit. And I also love that you said one of the things that was helpful for you, and I just want to kind of say it again so that it really lands with people. One of the things that was helpful for you in being able to be more unpredictable and take more risks in your live performing and your music making was actually to go back to the basics and to watch the fundamentals, the things that you probably already mostly knew, right? But you went back to module 0 or 1 in the class and you went through it all again to reinforce those obvious fundamentals. And I think that that's just a really nice thing to realize, that sometimes the best way to advance is to go back to the basics.
Yeah, and it's totally true. I mean, there was the lesson, one of the first lesson you of the module 1, I think, about FMing one oscillator with one another opens up a sonic possibility which is enormous if you explore it. But it's just an oscillator FMing another one, so
Yeah.
it's very simple at the core. But if you go through it, you discover that you can really obtain complex things. So
Yeah.
it's very
The
nice.
other thing that you said that I really want to make sure people are hearing is that you took all of those simple things and you put them into action in your music. That is the number one golden nugget for all of you. Okay.
Yeah.
Put it into action, because it is just an oscillator, FMing an oscillator, right? Simple. And yet it could lead you to hundreds of amazing ideas and patches and sounds once you put it into action. So thank you for sharing that. And I'm really glad to hear that that was helpful for you. I mean, that's really inspiring. So can you tell us a little bit more about how, since you've had this mindset shift, since you've been working in this different way and revisiting the basics, how has your music making changed? What are you doing now?
Yeah, it's like I'm doing a little bit of performances since it's summer here. It's Italy, of course, and summer is time for festivals, time for concerts, and I know people that I mean, in the music making scene that holds events and festivals, and they said to me, "Do you wanna play?" I say yes, why not?
Yes.
But I have to be prepared for it. So it takes time, and you have to focus about what your performance will be, and you need to also be aware of what level with the instruments you are. So in based on that, you decide how much time you have to dedicate for the performance to put the performance. And now in these days, I had a performance this Saturday, and I have another one next Sunday, which is has to be 8 minutes long. I'm starting from the same basic, from the same patch, and I have to thank you so much for the patch tip. So putting deconstructing and reconstructing the patch, I started putting it into practice few days ago, and it was really helpful. It's also a little bit how can I say, I don't know, I don't know the English word, but it's kind of meditating process.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
One little jack, and the click it does it's very nice. If you have the time, it helps you internalize the signal routing, and
Right.
also it's very fun, relaxing. How can I say
Yeah.
relaxing?
Yeah,
Helps you
absolutely.
with memory.
Wow. Well, I'm really excited to hear how that performance goes. At the moment, do you have any links or of public music? I don't think so, right?
I don't
Or
have public
no, not
music.
yet. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
not
okay.
yet, but it's. I'm planning to do it. Performances, audio and video performances.
Amazing.
Still has to be. I have a lot of ideas, but they take some time to be done. Right.
Yeah.
So it will take some month, but
That's
it will
okay.
be concrete.
We can be patient, but please do let us know when you have things that are publicly available to listen to, because I think it would be fabulous to follow along and hear how things progress for you.
Of course. Sure. Sure. Thank you.
Yeah. So I want to take a moment to say hello to everyone who's tuning in, who's been watching. It's nice to see you all. Hi, Julio. I see a couple of people tuning in from California. Welcome. I hope you're enjoying the sunshine. Um, if you are a person who wants to learn more about modular synthesizers, making music with electronic instruments, whether you're a complete beginner or like Enrico, you maybe have a semi-modular synth and you're curious about getting deeper into this, I want to tell you about my class, Learning Sound and Synthesis. We've been talking a lot about it for the last little while. Specifically, that enrollment is going to be opening in a couple of weeks. So if you're curious to learn more about the class and maybe see if it's the right fit for you, what I would love to ask you to do is hop onto the waitlist, which you can do by going to soundandsynthesis.com. I'm putting that in the comments right now. Joining the waitlist basically just means that you will be notified as soon as enrollment opens. You're going to get a ton of information about the course curriculum and what's involved and the coaching calls and everything like that. But if you have questions in the meantime about the class, how it works, if it's the right fit, feel free to send me a DM anytime, and I would be more than happy to chat. The class, again, it opens up in just a couple of weeks in mid-August, and it only runs 2 times a year. So if it is something you're curious about joining, I definitely recommend that you get on the wait list now or send me a message so that you don't miss the enrollment and have to wait until 6 more months go by. I think that that's all I wanted to say about that. But Enrico, back over to you. Is there anything else that you want to share about, you know, lessons you've learned or insights or anything like that before we wrap up for
Yeah,
today?
some little things, and it's like about the composition. I mean,
Okay,
how to
great.
structure a performance. Maybe I realized also that for me, but also because it's a little bit the nature of the instrument. You have to build slowly.
Mm,
It's not that possible to do very radical changes in a little bit of time. So you have to embrace a little bit of this. Build slowly, and then think about you what you want to build, and how can I say, it's made up of small changes, because sometimes in the performance I did last year, there were radical changes, and all of a sudden, so just in
yeah.
a brief period of time, that didn't work. It was very impossible about turning knobs. Then maybe with the right modules, if you have digital modules and some presets, the ability to recall presets, you can do it, but usually it's not like this in modular synthesis. uh, and yeah, I also acknowledged that. So it was
Yeah, I think what you're, sort of a larger idea that you're getting to is that you're meeting your instrument for what it is. Like
yeah.
that's really kind of what I'm hearing as the heart of what you're saying. And everyone's modular synthesizer will be different. That's the beauty of how they're set up. Um, but instead of, forcing your, like, this is how music must be onto the instrument,
Has to be this.
you're greeting it and going, okay, what might we do today? Like, what am I going to hear from you? What do you have to say? Where could we go? Here's an idea. And then, oh, okay, that's an interesting, unexpected twist. Let's
You are
follow
open to
that.
possibilities, and you have no pressure about them. So this is a total game changer because it's a win-win situation. You have many things to do, but at the same time, no pressure, no feeling blocked, and no stuff.
I
So
love that.
one another thing, last thing I have to
Yeah,
add,
please.
it's the Create with Courage series, which you did in 30 days.
Oh,
Uh,
create with courage.
did it.
Yep. Hmm.
Yeah, that was really helpful for me, and I think it will be helpful also for
Okay,
other
great. Well,
people.
oh, I'm so glad to hear it. So if anyone's curious what Enrico's talking about, it's the Create with Courage series that I did on social media about a month or two ago. It's all archived on all of my social media channels. So if you're watching on Facebook or Instagram or wherever you are, you can scroll back and you will find them. And it was 30 posts in 30 days, sharing all kinds of lessons and things that I've learned either by having challenges in my creative life or successes or from teaching other people. At this point, hundreds of people have gone through my learning sound and synthesis class. So I've learned a lot from conversations like these, what's working for people. And yeah, you can scroll back and binge read it all in one day if you want to, because they're all there now.
Yeah, yeah. If
And
you feel uninspired, you can just go and then
choose a post. Yeah, and if you do go check it out and something resonates with you, I would love to hear. I would love to hear how it impacts your creativity and what which post you found the most meaningful. So please send me a message because it's always helpful for me to know.
of course,
Yeah.
I will.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Enrico. There's so many great ideas that came through in this interview. I'm gonna go back and watch through it again and take note of some of the things you said. I want to highlight for people, but as we're signing off, embrace that beginner's mindset. The more open you are to finding a golden nugget in every conversation or finding that missing piece or shifting your mindset just a little bit and seeing what exciting challenge might lie ahead as an opportunity rather than a setback, the more that you're going to be able to grow. And thank you so much for reminding us of that today,
Thank you,
Enrico.
Sarah. Thank you.
And for those of you who are curious, for those of you who are curious about joining the next round of learning sound and synthesis, just a reminder, go to soundandsynthesis.com, hop on the wait list. That means you'll be the first to be notified when the doors open in just a couple of weeks. I am so excited for the fall cohort. Every cohort, I am so excited, but honestly, it gets better and better with every round because the community gets bigger and richer and more vibrant, and there are people like you, Enrico, in the community who come back and join conversations. More perspectives, the better, in my opinion. So
I think I will join also the next coaching calls if possible.
Yes, join. See, that proves my point. The alumni in this class are always coming back, rejoining, and in my opinion, it just makes it endlessly special. So I would love to see you in the next cohort. Send me a message if you have questions. Go ahead and for those of you watching, sign up on the wait list. I'm just dropping that link in the chat one more time. There it goes. Okay. And with that, I will say goodbye for now. Thank you, Enrico.
Thank you, Sarah. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks to everyone watching.
See
Bye
you soon.